Ladies and gents, it's my absolute honour and probably the moment you've been waiting for all night. Please welcome to the stage Rob Rinder, MBE.
What a sublime turnout, what a gift, and above all else, what a privilege to be here. It is a true gift. You're 60 years of the Lake School. I mean, I have to say that is an incredible milestone. There's not many institutions that can say they've survived 6 decades of teenage hormones, missing homework, and of course the smell of wet PE kit. But it's a gift to be here, friends, family in this community, which I say in the truest and most profound sense, because of what else this place means to me, to us, to this community, to all of us. When we talk about the Holocaust, people often ask me and others, how could anybody go on afterwards? And the truth is, there is an answer to that question. Most of them didn't know if they could. After the war ended, 300 young survivors were brought here to the Lake District. And as many, if not all of you know, they became known as the Windermere Boys. And my grandfather, Morris, was one of them. He arrived with nothing. No family, no home, no language for what he'd been through. He'd spent his teenage years surviving the worst things human beings can do to one another. And then he found himself standing in a place so beautiful, he could hardly believe it was real. When I asked him, one of the few memories he would share was Windermere. Paradise, he called it. Here at Calgarth, the old RAF site near Windermere, those boys were given food, warmth, and care. But what truly healed them wasn't the bread or blankets. It was the kindness, the teachers, the nurses, volunteers, people who'd never met a Jew before, looked into the eyes of these boys and girls and didn't see victims. They saw possibilities. They taught them English, yes, but also how to laugh again, how to play football, how to sing. And one of the teachers said they arrived looking like ghosts, and within weeks, they were shouting, joking. They were living again. One survivor told me, in the camps, they took away our names. In Windermere, we got them back. Of course, the Calgarth estate wasn't just a place to stay. It was a promise that even after unspeakable darkness, people could still choose to do good, that decency could triumph over despair. It was and remains Britain at its very best, saying without fanfare that we will never let cruelty have the last word. And what came next? What came next was astonishing. These boys didn't just survive, they lived. They built families, they started businesses, raised children, became grandparents, great-grandparents, neighbors, and beloved friends. They proved the fundamental human truth that we all share, that joy itself can be an act of courage. And it's that spirit, the spirit of courage, of kindness, and of rebuilding that lives on here in this school. Because of where this school is and the community it's part of, people who've passed through these halls have gone on to make extraordinary contributions, as we'll hear tonight, in science, in the arts, in sports, carrying a little piece of Windermere's light into our shared world. 60 years of the Lake School means 6 decades of learning, of laughter, of muddy boots and soggy uniform, and in true Cumbrian fashion, pretending the rain is just a bit of mist. Yeah. And friends, I told pupils earlier this morning that the Lake School isn't simply a place where you learn to pass exams. It's where you learn to become the type of person who shows up for others, regardless of who they are, regardless of where they're from. A person who does the right thing when nobody's looking. That's the same spirit, the same ethos that healed my grandfather and his friends here in Windermere 80 years ago. Now, when I walk around this place, despite making documentaries for the first time in my life today, I still feel that same goodness in the air. It's not perfect, it's not loud, but it's decent, and it's brave, and it's full of heart. And I think this is what courage looks like. It's not the absence of fear, but the decision to go on loving in spite of it. And tonight, being here with all of you feels like a sort of beautiful circle closing. To stand on this ground in this community, surrounded by all of you, by people who still believe with every vestige of your humanity in kindness and learning. That is profoundly and deeply special to all of us. It feels, in a quiet way today, like coming home. And before I finish, a few things, but I want to thank the school head, all of the teachers in the school, and everybody who's made tonight possible. But perhaps especially Luke, who at just less than half the age of this school, at 25, has poured his heart, care, and vision into making this celebration what it is. He embodies the same spirit that those first volunteers at Calgarth showed. That instinct that Windermere, that the lakes that Cumbria has. The instinct to help, to build, and to give. If we were giving out medals, planting trees for the righteous tonight, Luke, your name would be on the list. So tonight, as we celebrate 60 years of this remarkable school, let's remember that we're all part of that same legacy of teachers and of neighbors who believed in healing, who continue to believe in community, in the power, the limitless power of compassion. And perhaps as we look to the future, we can imagine a new school one day, built on the same values that healed those boys: courage, decency, and hope. And I certainly would not be standing here without them. But friends, amongst us, we have a special gift tonight. Those who we commemorate, those who stood on this ground 80 years ago, who were gifted the beginnings of a breath of life that they would go on to breathe into their shared community. One in particular, who is 97 years young, who remembers arriving on this earth, in this place. I asked him earlier, what was it like? Did it look the same outside? Yes, it did. My friends, amongst us is Arik Hirsch, Holocaust survivor and boy. Arik, if you could please stand up. Eric, stay standing if you don't mind. I said earlier about, if you're able to, the gift of what this place managed to help, to assist, to create into our shared world. I'm the smallest of small parts of it. We have Eric and his daughter and a number of those whose mums and dads were in this place. If you are a second-generation survivor, please stand up. Thank you so much. And they've come from across the country, from London, from Manchester, and even from the state of Israel tonight to be here. Because the truth is, I wouldn't be standing here without the people that gifted everything to this school. And neither would this school, because the Lake School stands quietly on ground where hope was rebuilt. And that, to me, I hope, and I'm sure to each and every one of you, is sacred ground. So tonight, let's raise our hearts, our memories, and maybe even later a glass to the boys, the children, boys and girls who came here broken, to the people who healed them, and to all of you in this school who keep that light burning. And now to capture just a little bit of that same spirit of music, of beauty, of courage made real, please join me in welcoming our wonderful alumni vocalist, Marcella Niels, joined by Leo on the piano.